Of course, I'm so honored that AJ would be here, and it's just so perfect that he would start us off today because he is my big brother, my mentor, a coach to me, somebody that has lifted me up and been here for y'all that's been down a ride for the past 2 years. AJ was here starting us off. So today is all about monetizing your movement, like really honing in on your messaging, really honing in on who you're talking to, really honing in on what your foundation looks like. A lot of people join here in Girl Plus Goals, or they just start a business and they're like, cool, I'm gonna pop something on the shirt. I'm gonna write my book. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna sell it. And everybody's gonna be like, this is the best product I've ever had. Thank you so much. I'm going to check out. Here's all my money. And then when that doesn't happen, you're like, I'm gonna give up because this isn't right for me. And the problem is that we're skipping over the steps that you need to take in order to build trust in your community. In order to even build the community, you can't sell a product without having a community. So you got to know who you're talking to. You got to know who you want. And it's not everybody. I know that is the clear, who do you want to sell your product to? Oh, this is for everybody. Everybody that love God, I want you to come get this. Who exactly are you talking to? So I'm not going to spend too much time on introductions because I will go on and on and on about all the people that are going to be here today. But AJ is an amazing entrepreneur. He is an author. He is a book writing coach. He is a software developer. Shout out to Blooksy. He is so many different things, but more than anything, he is somebody who loves people and he really wants to see you win. And everybody who will be on today is the same way. They truly want to see you win and they're not going to sugarcoat anything. We love God, but there may be some cussing and we're going to truly give you the real today. So what's up, AJ?
What's happening, man? Thank you for being gracious with your time and putting this together. This is so Crystal Lee of you.
Like a whole day of entrepreneurs, making it happen. But I thank you because I know that you have a lot going on and you made the time to be here today. So I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm not going to assume that anybody on today is familiar because some people have, been with me for a really long time. Some people are newer. I'm not going to assume that anybody knows what a tribe or a movement is or, what that's about. So I want us to start off with what is a tribe and why is it even necessary?
I want you to think about a tribe as a family that's not your family. That's not your blood family. It can be a team, it can be a sorority, it could be any kind of group that's established around a specific thing or a goal. And so if you look at what Crystal has with Girl Plus Goals, that's a tribe. If you look at any church, that's a tribe. Any team, any sports teams, any kind of team, that's a tribe. And there are a few things that you can do to build them. But before you get to building them, there are a couple of things that typically stop people in their tracks. And that's kind of what I want to talk to, because before getting to the tribe phase, you kind of have to get over some of the mental hurdles that you're going to have in entrepreneurship. And you and I talk about this ad nauseum about some of the things that happen in people's heads. So I wrote a couple things down specifically for this.
Okay.
And I want you to jump in too, because I would love to sort of ping this off of you. The first thing that I've seen people, and I've been doing the entrepreneur thing over the last 10 years. And before that, I developed software and I was an IT nerd for 20 years. And I sort of had a parallel career doing marketing, promotions, that kind of stuff at night. But anyway, one of the things that people have to figure out in the beginning is, does the thing work, right? I can't tell you how many things I've tried. Everything from multi-level marketing. Crystal, did you ever sell any multi-level?
Yeah, I was selling some little tea.
I sold the tea, the coffee.
Little face products. Hey, you gotta try it.
Yeah, you gotta try it, right? So, and that's typically where people start. You hear a story about someone that has started from the bottom, now they're here. And they're on a stage and they're pitching something to you, and that appeal that's inside of you, that thing is like, I can do that too, right? So then we start trying different things. And what happens is we try things a lot of times for the money.
Right. Right.
And that's where we mostly start. We're like,
Right.
oh, if they're making money doing this, I can make money doing this.
Right.
Or if they're famous doing this, I can be famous doing this. And I'll, just think about when you're a kid, you see as a little boy, you see Michael Jordan on TV. So you're outside practicing all day thinking that you're about to hit the game-winning three-pointer, right? So it's figuring out if the thing is for you. And then once you figure out what things aren't for you, you start to move toward what's for you. Right. And so I want to
stop you right for a second, because I think that when we talk about the fear of it all, the fear of the mistake, the fear of it not working is often what stops us. So a lot of people in here, you've already started because you're here watching this, but you may be afraid to do certain things because it's like, but if that doesn't work, I don't want to restart, or I don't want to do something else. And everybody is like, here you go again.
Exactly. And let me speak to the fear too. It's the fear, but there's this thing inside of you that keeps driving you though. Even if you're not doing it, even if you have that fear, it's almost like a calling. It's like you can't not do it. So you have that fear, and that fear is keeping you on the edge, but you're still like right there at the edge, like, oh, I can do it, but I can do it, but. And the other thing that people get into, Crystal, is I'm just a person. What if they don't like me? What if they don't listen to me? Oh, you're on the radio, Crystal. Of course they're going to like you. Or, AJ, you work with this person or that person. Of course they're going to like you. But everybody started from zero. Like literally everybody starts from zero. No matter how big, how famous, how whatever they are, everybody starts from zero. And I think I got a story about one of my early jobs. I worked at Georgia Tech, and I was managing an IT department over there. And this is back in the day when we used to actually build computers from scratch. So there was this store. I was going to buy computer parts on Northside Drive, and went to the computer store, and there was the lady that worked there. Her name was Sue. She was an Asian lady, and her English was bad. And there was a Black lady in there, and they were arguing over computer parts. So I jumped in, I said, hey, and I kind of intervened and smoothed everything over, and they were able to have their transaction. And the lady turned around and she said, so what do you do, young man? She was a little bit older. And I was like, oh, I'm the manager over at Georgia Tech. And she's like, oh my God, I'm opening up a computer school, right? So she said, do you teach Net Plus? And I was like, yes, ma'am, I can. I'm A plus. There's this certification. Let me back up. There's a certification called A plus certifications. That's like a computer cert. Then there's a Net Plus certification, which is like a brother certification. It's for computer networking. Anyway, she said, can you teach Net Plus certification? So in my mind, I'm like, hell yeah, I can teach. But I hadn't even taken the certification. I knew about it, but I never took it, right? So she said, meet me in my office Saturday morning. I'm paying $40 an hour. You're going to work 4 hours every Saturday, and it's a 12-week contract, right? So I had not ever taken the Net Plus certification. I left that store. I went to Barnes and Noble's. I bought a Net Plus book, and I read like the first 3 chapters. And then I wrote my curriculum based on what I read, right? So I took the job, and every week I would read 3 more chapters ahead of what I was going to teach. By the end of the 12 weeks, the class was 30 something people. I think 24 of the people got Net Plus certified. They passed the certification test from me, and I didn't even have the Net Plus certification, right? Now, that's faking it till you make it, right? Now, sometimes that's okay. I'm not saying go and be a fraud. That could be looked at that way, but I understood enough about technology, and I had been doing it long enough to understand they're just protocols. But there's a movie called Catch Me If You Can. It's about a guy who had a bunch of different careers that he wasn't certified for. He was he was a pilot. He was a doctor. He did all these different things. Well, I read the book, and in the book, he had a lot more careers than they portrayed in the movie. He taught a semester at Brigham Young University. And after it was all said and done, he hustled a lot of people out of a lot of money, so he got arrested. So when he was being questioned and they asked him about all those things, he said that he would just read the book before whatever job that he wanted to do, and he would go do it. He flew a plane as a co-pilot, like a commercial airplane. right? And again, I'm not saying fake it till you make it, but what I'm saying is you have to sort of do something that's going to push you out of your comfort zone enough to make you uncomfortable that you have to perform, right? And the one of the challenges that we have, especially with social media, is that we're looking up and we're looking forward and we're looking at the people that are at the top and we're like, oh my God, I got to be like Crystal, I got to be like this person, I got to be like that person. Issa Rae said something that I'll never forget when she won her first award. When she was doing Awkward Black Girl on YouTube, she said that she worked with other people that were in her circle who were making videos too, right? So she looked at the people who were famous, but she didn't try to reach out. A lot of people will reach out and try to DM the person with 1 million followers and you just getting started. That's fine. I'm not saying don't do that. But what's a strategic way to do it? And Issa Rae said this, and I'll never forget it. She said, network sideways.
Right.
Right? Who are the people that are beside you that are on the grind too? Look at those people and y'all form some sort of a network. Like, look, homie, bro, we're gonna do this. You doing this, I'm doing this. Let's do a mastermind together. We're gonna share our thoughts and ideas. We're gonna read this book and we're gonna, you know what I mean? Like network sideways. Those are the people that you can rise with together. Right. Okay. So when you're asking the question, you know, who would listen to me? The people that are beside you. And the reason I said the story about me doing the thing at Georgia Tech and then catch me if you can is all you have to do is be 1 or 2 steps ahead of the person that you're helping. So who is somebody that you're 2 steps ahead of? Or if you're creating a product, just find a product that one person will love besides you and besides your friends, right? Create it for whatever you're doing, create it for them. Because if you can create something for one person, I promise you there are 10 other people like that one person. And if there are 10 other people, there are 100 other, and so forth and so on. But you gotta keep going until you do that. I'll stop, Crystal, because I feel like I'm just going on and on and on.
No, that's good because I think that we need that, and that also speaks to a level of confidence that you need to have in this space. You need to be confident enough about what you're selling because other people can feel that. So when you have that type of energy, that's like, can you please buy my shirt?
Yeah.
Would you mind buying my shirt?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to want that because you don't even believe in it. So why should I believe in it? So it's a level of, you know, are you going to show up for yourself? Are you going to show up and say, you know, this is mine. I believe in it. And it ain't got to be the best thing ever. I ain't got to be the most well studied, but it's me. Like it, here I am. And AJ,
Yes.
I know that you've been at the formation of a lot of different movements, including this one. You were
Mm-hmm.
here in the beginning for Girl Plus Goals. I did not, I repeat, I did not want to form any kind of movement where it came to t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ was like, no, this is the way for you to go. So you have had that struggle and that fight with a lot of entrepreneurs. You have been there to form a lot of movements. You know what it takes. And just for reference, a movement is, you know, that's the Beehive. That is the Navy for Rihanna. That's the
Yes.
Believers. You know,
Yes.
everybody wants to be a part of something.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be in somebody's tribe. Why do people keep voting for Trump? Guess what? He has a movement, and that movement is very strong. So, where a lot of people look at that particular situation, as we know, is like, oh, this is a mess. For me, the whole 4 years or even before that, that we were in it, it was like, look at the spell he has on these people. Like, look at that. And you don't, I'm not telling you to manipulate and to do what he was doing, but you have to look to see the way that he truly has these people to buy into anything that he does.
Mm-hmm.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, he has a movement, a very strong movement that is not going to die anytime soon. So how would you say we need to like set the foundation for the movement? Like, let's go back to the beginning. What does that look like when you starting off? Is that creating the product? Is that going to get the email list? Is that talking to your friend on the street and saying, join my movement?
So it comes down to understanding, like really understanding who you're creating the thing for. It's not about you, it's about the person. So if you think about, let's look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is in marketing, this is a slang term, it's called the evil twin, right? So you'll see it a lot. And when I say it, you guys are going to be like, oh my God, that's the same thing. So it's like saying, the top 5 trends in 2021, right? Then the next thing you can say is the top 5 things you never, ever, ever want to do if you're marketing in 2021. That's the evil twin. You'll see that a lot in content. You create the thing and then you create the antithesis of the thing. Donald Trump is the antithesis of President Obama. Like President Obama is hope, Donald Trump is fear. President Obama is power, Donald Trump is force, right? They're two sides of the same coin. President Obama's true followers will follow him, probably not off a bridge because they're more thoughtful in their thing, but it's the same type of movement. People still have President Obama stickers just like they have Donald Trump stickers, right? Two sides of the same coin. So it is speaking to the problem. When President Obama came into office, we had, again, you guys may not be old enough to remember this, but with George Bush, there was so much, like we had the crash, the auto market failed, the banks failed, everybody didn't know what was going on. President Obama's message was hope. Yes, we can. Yes, we can, right? So now we move into the 4 years now. Again, I don't want to get into the race and all that kind of stuff, but 4 years of people who felt like President Obama didn't understand them. They were like, we feel unheard. We feel like we should be able to say the words we want to say. We feel like we should be able to do the things we want to do. We're tired of this political correctness. Like, and then who comes along? Donald Trump is like, I'm against political correctness. I'll say what I want to say. You know what I mean? Like he said whatever. So he spoke to a specific audience of people who felt unheard, the same way that President Obama spoke to a group of people who felt unheard, right? So it's literally the same thing. So if you want to build a tribe, and one of the things I think, Crystal, you and I did this, draw a line and I mean, get a piece of paper, draw a line on the middle. On one side, write down all the problems that the person that you have, that you're targeting, that they have. Are they uncertain? Like, again, let's think about what we're on this call right now, right? I know some of you guys are starting your business and some of you are uncertain. Some of you have sold a couple of shirts, but you haven't sold enough. So now you're feeling like maybe you should shut it down. Some of you are thinking like, man, if I could just reach this certain person and do a partnership deal with that person, then I could really move some shirts. Some of you are just like, if I just knew, right? So if you list all the fears of the target audience, your target audience has, on the other side of the paper, write down what it is that you can do to allay, it's called allaying the fear, to make that fear go away, right? What can you say? What can you do? What can you teach? What can you write? What video can you make to make this one particular fear go away? And then do the same thing for the next fear. What can you do? What can you say? What can you write? What can you teach?
That's a great example.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So somebody type, let's do an example, starting a t-shirt business. What are some of the fears that you guys have? How many of you want to start a t-shirt business, or how many of you have a t-shirt business, or just getting started, or somewhere in that journey? Starting, have one, started. Okay. So I know by starting a t-shirt business and having been a part of this tribe before, or a part of it now and been a part of this tribe, I know that one of your fears are, what if I don't sell enough and I'm still paying this membership and I don't make enough to cover the membership and the fee that I got to pay to cover the Shopify and the money that I got to pay to, right? That I have to pay for my ads and for my email marketing. Like your fears are fears of, I don't know if I can do all of this.
Right. Because you got into it to make money.
Right.
When it's spending, well, investing the money.
Correct. Right. So I know those are some of your fears. So if I wanted to make a video and if I wanted to pull you in, I could make a video, a YouTube video that said, hey, if you're just starting your t-shirt business and you're a little nervous that you won't be able to make enough money in the first year, sign up for my course, because I can show you how I was able to, in the first 6 weeks of my business, go from $0 to $5,000 a month without selling ads, without writing email copy, without hiring people from Fiverr. And I have a step-by-step system that'll show you exactly how you can do it too. So look, watch this 5-minute webinar. And at the end of the webinar, I'm going to offer you an opportunity to join my group for $6 a month. And I'm going to teach you every single thing that you need to know to start your t-shirt business. And we're going to help you make $5,000 selling t-shirts within the first 3 months. Right? So I literally just asked you guys what you were nervous about. And then I turned around and used it in a marketing sentence that will attract you and more people like you if you saw it for the first time. That's the beginning of building a tribe, understanding what your people are nervous about, understanding what keeps them up at night, understanding, let's flip it to products, top three. When you're thinking about your t-shirt, one of the biggest things that I have seen over and over and over again is people will create a t-shirt because it's an idea that they had and they think it's great.
Right.
I have this idea. I want to create a t-shirt that says, God is the joy and the strength of my life. He removes all pain, misery, and strife. He promised to keep me and never believe he'll never, ever come short of his word, right? And you may think that's the greatest t-shirt ever, right? So you're going to find somebody on Fiverr to design it, or you're going to go to 99 Designs and find somebody to design it. And you're going to do all this stuff to get it done, but you haven't even found out if somebody else wants it yet.
Right.
Right? So the first thing that you want to do before you do all of that is go to Fiverr, have a mock-up of it done, and say, hey, my t-shirt is, and just share it on Facebook, just a picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Go on Facebook and say, hey, I'm going to have this t-shirt done next week. If you want one, here's a PayPal link. Don't build a store, don't build a Shopify store yet. Don't run ads. Don't do all this stuff. Or if you want to make it even easier, go to Fiverr and ask them, like, I want you to put this on the front of a white t-shirt on a person, or go have them do the design and go to place it and put it on the front of a shirt and download it and stick it on Facebook with a PayPal link. That's it. If you sell some, if people are like, oh my God, I want that, and you see people buying it, now you're like, oh wow, what if I did this in a different color, right? But what people do, and again, it's part of the learning process. People will go create an entire line, cups, mugs, glasses, hats, 3 colors, 6 designs, front and back, whatever, put their store up, get a trademark, get a copyright, pay for a lawyer to do that, pay a web designer, and literally have never talked to anybody because they think somebody's going to steal their idea.
Yeah.
That's how, again, I was there too. And I'm telling you, from having come from that place, it doesn't require all that. Okay. So those are just a few examples of just some of the things to think about as you go forward. And as you start to grow more and more into this, test first. Crystal, how many times do we say test it? I'm like, test it.
That never ends though, because I think that, people think that
It
that's
never ends.
beginning. It never ends. I test everything. If it doesn't get a good response, I'm not gonna sell it, because it's not about what you want, it's about what your customers want. It's sometimes I think I'm about to kill it with a design. I'm like, oh, y'all about to get this heat. And the guys will just be like, we don't want that heat. Like, that's not the heat for us. So you got to know that there is a demand for the product that you are selling before you go off and sell it. And like you said, AJ, and you got 5, 6 designs, 25,000 pieces.
Yes.
So Ashley asks, how do you know it's a good response? So for me personally, I can tell based on, we'll do stories a lot of times. So we'll do stories and we'll see what people are saying. Are they trying to change the design? Are they just like, I love it? Or are they like, nah, I'm not really feeling it? And that goes down to colors, styles, and new designs, logos, everything. And the big brands do this too. Like, they're doing it to us all the time. They're always testing. They're always looking at new trends. And so we can't get out of doing the work if these big companies are also doing research, spending millions of dollars to do research to make sure there's a demand. What makes you think you can just skip all of that and be like,
this is my t-shirt.
this is my shirt.
I'm gonna get this shirt.
You get this shirt, and because it says God on it, and let's just be real, for a lot of people that have faith brands, then you're like, it's gonna sell because it has God on it. And in some cases, if you have, if you're at a church frequently, or if you know people, that may sell, but you definitely want to do your research to make sure that there is a demand for the product that you are selling. So AJ, I want to know some of your favorite examples of really good brands that have movements that we should be following, like that we should be on their email list. We should be following their page. We're not going to copy anybody. We always say that. I never tell anybody to go copy. However, you never have to reinvent the wheel. You never have to go and create something from scratch. I guarantee it's probably already been done. So who would you say are some people we should be following, we should be modeling our movement building after?
One good brand, and this is some part of some of the research I did when we started working together, is Boohoo. Boohoo Man and Boohoo and Urban Outfitters, all of those companies that sell t-shirts and things like that. Boohoo does an amazing job. And one thing that you'll notice is once you sign up, I signed up for them for a research purpose, and I learned a lot
Is that
from that.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I bought a couple t-shirts, you know what I'm saying? Bought some hats. Right? Definitely Fashion Nova. They do an amazing job.
Yes, absolutely.
But again, what Crystal said was important. In marketing, we have this thing we call swipe. Swipe is when I have a folder. I have 100, dozens and dozens, and probably hundreds and hundreds of folders and files that are called swipe files. Here's what that means. Right now, I'm building software. So I have completely immersed myself in the software world, and I've started building swipe. I have landing pages, all the best landing pages that I've seen. Every time I see one, I screenshot it and I put it in my Evernote. I have a whole thing just full of landing pages. I've signed up to probably 20 different email lists so I can understand how they're email marketing to their people. I've signed up for developer groups. Developers are people who build the software, right? So you want to deconstruct all of the people that are doing it, right? Sign up for people, follow them, don't copy them. Copy their style. And when I say their style, I mean, if it applies to your brand, Boohoo has a certain voice, right? Figure out your voice, but use their method, right? They email 2-3 times a day. I mean, they have a full staff too. I understand that. But you can email people multiple times as long as you're saying things that they're interested in, right? And every email, Boohoo, go to Boohoo Man, just do a search for Boohoo clothing, just like that, Tiffany. What was I saying? Okay. Yeah, they email multiple times a day because I know that's how I get my brain going. Like, turn back on, turn back on. Yes.
That's a very good question too, and I'm glad she brought that up.
Yes.
What if you don't even know what to say when you're emailing? So, we say that a lot. When you're building your brand, you're getting that foundation going. You're like, send these emails, get these emails going. But you're like, I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, y'all, stop with me. Like, hey, did you see the sale I got today?
Okay, so first of all, don't be so myopic and looking at exactly like the thing to say. Like you can actually say, because these are people that you're talking to. They're not customers, they're people. That's the first thing. Once you understand they're people, then it gives you the freedom to be a person, right? Email market. Let me tell you something, Debbie. I started email marketing in 96 or 97. There wasn't even they didn't even have email marketing or blogging, and I was doing it just from my email, right? Every time I get ready to press send to this day, the email I sent out yesterday, I have this little nervous thing like, oh, shit, I'm about to hit send. You know what I'm saying? Every single time, it doesn't stop, right? You just have to press send. And let me go back to Tiffany's question. I don't know what to say. Hey guys, what's up? This is Tiffany. This is my first email. I'm so nervous. I don't know what to say. I just wanted to tell y'all, number one, thank you for being on my email list. I'm trying to figure out this t-shirt brand. Bring them with you. You can say what you're feeling.
Nobody expects you to be Fashion Nova.
Nobody.
Nobody expects you to be this big corporation. My emails are still sent. No matter who does my emails, it still comes from me. I'm still going to talk to them like I'm talking to one person. I personally never say, this is just for me doing radio, but I never say y'all. I always say you. I want people to feel like I'm talking directly to them.
Right.
How was your day? How are you doing today? And sometimes it's not just, hey, come shop with me. Sometimes it's like, are you okay?
Correct. Right. That's another key point. Send your email to one person. I mean, not physically send it to one person, but when you're talking, talk to one person. Now, I've started saying y'all because I built sort of a community already.
It's a radio thing for me.
But
yeah. So y'all is fine.
Yeah. Right. So again, your email is to one person. Tell them how you feel. Like, you know what, guys, I'm really stressed out today. It's raining in Atlanta, coming out with a new color this week. Let me know what you guys think about this color. Oh, by the way, look, if you want to buy a shirt, here's the link. go ahead and buy it. And if you buy it, send a pic, like send me a picture of it so I can post it on Instagram. Or honestly, here's one of the easiest ways that I'm on one email list that I'm on. It's a marketing guy. He starts out every email saying what he's doing, what he found interesting today. So he'll link to an Instagram account, he'll link to a meme, he'll link to something else like, hey, I saw this, I thought y'all would find this interesting, da da da. And then at the end, he's selling like a $97 thing. And that's his whole business model. He has one $97 product that he sells. That's it. But he sends an email every single day, right? So it doesn't, I know the feeling of starting out and feeling like everything has to be perfect. And well, I never got to that point, but I know the feeling of wanting it to be a certain type of way, and things are not that type of way. So you feel like you can't do the thing yet. I suffer from that right now with what I'm building, right? But you have to press send, and it's a muscle that you build. And what happens is if you don't build that muscle, you will continue to just stay in the place of, I don't know if timidity is a word, but you'll continue to be timid and you'll never progress, right? That's the weird things about us as human beings. We always want to progress in whatever it is that we're doing, right? And we have this thing inside of us like, I got to go forward. I got to go forward. But then that fear, like you said, Crystal, that fear is right there all the time. But talk to your people as if you're talking to a person. That will help you connect to them more. As a matter of fact, when I spoke at I spoke at an event, and within my first minute on the stage, I'm like, look, y'all, I'm up here on the stage, but I'm just like y'all. I'm from country town in Louisiana, country boy, whatever, grew up. So if I'm from Louisiana, so I can't pronounce all the words the right way y'all used to hearing it. So if I don't say it the right way, y'all forgive me. And by the time I finished kind of breaking the ice, they were like, oh my God, this dude is just a real person. And then I ended up getting like a standing ovation at the end because I just got up and told stories. And it was like real stories of stuff that happened, but it had marketing advice in it. So be who you are, be relatable to, because the people on your email list are looking at y'all the way y'all are looking at Crystal, or you know what I'm saying? Because they're looking at you as the person that's done it. You may not feel like you've done anything, but I guarantee you, if you're in this group and you launched a t-shirt business, there's someone looking at you trying to figure out how you did what you're doing. And they're following you to see how you're doing what you're doing. You said you're starting and you actually started. Somebody's looking, absolutely, Ashley, I promise you, there's somebody looking at you right now, sharing a screenshot of your t-shirt. Like, I want to do something like she's doing.
Right.
She was my friend in high school and now she got her t-shirt thing going on. I promise you.
And we've talked about that. If we're going to use Ashley as an example, Ashley, if you are okay with me sharing some of our conversation recently, but sometimes we get stuck too because we're trying to show people something that, we're still trying to do, which is absolutely fine. But where Ashley is as an educator, which she's great at because she has the best personality for that, but she's an educator that is also now an entrepreneur. So what does that look like when you are teaching people how to do exactly what you've already done? And like you said, AJ, we get stuck because we're like, but I'm not successful yet, or I don't look like, whoever yet, but you've already taken the steps. Actually, you're already successful to so many people. So are you going to be willing to say, I can teach you how I got here? You don't have to teach them how to get from A to Z, but can you teach somebody how to get from A to C? Absolutely.
I mean, everybody wants to be a millionaire, but make your first dollar first. Like, make your first dollar first, then make another dollar, then make $10. That's how it goes. It doesn't go, I start and I'm a millionaire.
Right. But social media has us thinking that, and shout out to Leon, you start off and then you about to go be on a jet. Like, you're going to be on a jet the next day. You're going to have all the cars, all the clothes, all the things. We have made that a part of the journey. Like, we have made that the definition of success. Yes, everybody wants, we get into the six figures, we get into this. And honestly, that is what drives people to want to buy from you. But yes, I made $1,000. Think about that. Think about you making an extra $1,000 a month. Think about you making an extra $500 a month. What can you do with that? That is success. That's success. Yeah. And there's a bunch of people who are looking like, I am an educator, I am a teacher, I am a this, I am a that. and I want to learn how to make an extra $500 a month. You don't have to be the one to show them how to get to 5 million.
Mm-hmm. You don't. And then I don't know, man. I think again, everybody wants to skip the work and go straight to the reward. And I know that's cliche, but that's what it is. Everybody just wants the stuff without doing the thing to get the stuff.
Right.
So right now you're doing the thing to get the stuff, right? And there's another blog post that I read. But ultimately, here's what I want everybody to remember and write this down. Endure long enough. You have to endure long enough. There are TV shows that I've heard about and I went and watched it and I was like, oh my God, this thing's been on for 7 seasons and I never heard about it before.
Are you talking about Schitt's Creek?
Yeah, that's one of them, right?
And so, nobody was watching it.
Nobody right?
was watching it.
And they were on for 7. And I'm working with clients now and I have one, well, I got a couple of examples, but I have a client specifically out in Oakland, and she started and she's doing her videos and whatever, put her strategy together. And she had one video to take off. And then all of a sudden, all of her videos numbers start going up because she had one to go viral, but she had been doing it for months and months and months. So now people thought, oh my gosh, she came out of nowhere, but she's been doing it for, you know what I'm saying, a long time before anybody saw it, just like she talked about Schitt's Creek, right? So you have to endure long enough. Keep doing your thing and take the feedback that you're getting and adjust course. It's like when you're doing anything, you have to split test. If you're running ads, I know you just mentioned Leon, if you're running ads, you don't just run one ad because that's the ad that you think is going to work. You run multiple ads, you test the one that works, and then that's the one you get behind. You put the money behind, right? And then you do it again because that ad will eventually fade out, and then you got to, you know what I mean? So everything that you're doing, you got to do it, test it, do it, test it, do it, test it. And when you find something that works, that's what you teach. Top 3, how many t-shirts did you have before you settled on just Girl Plus God? Didn't you have like other shirts that you did too? How many did you have?
Absolutely. My first t-shirt, it's funny, somebody sent me a message the other day and was like, can you make an I Shot Jesus Save shirt? Again, that was my favorite. That was the very first t-shirt I had. And that first one was terribly ugly. It was very ugly. And she's talking about she wanted. So I had several t-shirt designs and I always went with the one that took fire. Like, even though I may have loved one, if one took fire, it was like, you go off with that one. Mm-hmm. And y'all know I acquired Girl Plus God from somebody. I bought this brand. I never saw this. But if I would have given up with what I had, I never would have been here. So mm-hmm. the way that you start is not going to be the way that you finish. But if you don't keep going, you won't get there. And I get that it's frustrating. And I'm not saying I don't understand. Yes, we have our jobs that we have to go to. We got the kids, we got the responsibilities, we got the mental things that we got to go through. Life is happening. So it's like, how do you kind of figure it out, AJ, in the midst of every single thing that's going on? It's like, how do I market? I know we talked about emails, but what do I do with my social media? How do you, in the midst of life happening, because it's happening regardless. Like, business owner, I know we think that once we get to the finish line, it's like, cool, I'm here, I made it, I'm good. No, running your business, life is still going to go on.
Yes, life is going to go on. One of the things that I said, endure long enough. But the other thing is, you have to know that you're going to find the thing, but you won't find it if you stop. Like, stopping isn't an option for me, period. Right. So if it's not this, now I have things that I can do to generate money and I consider that my job. And we talk about that. But then I have the thing that I do that's my moonshot. And that's the thing that I think if I do that well, I can actually retire. Right. But if you stop, then you won't find it. Starting over is never a bad thing if the thing that you're doing is not working. You can adjust course. You can adjust course. But when you never really, again, here's another cliche, you never really start over because you're learning as you're going, right? So you can learn the lessons from this one t-shirt. And like Crystal said, all of a sudden there's a brand that becomes available. You buy a brand and you apply all the lessons that you learned from the previous brand.
Right. Or maybe not even a t-shirt.
Or it may not even be a t-shirt.
Start off with the t-shirt and look up and be like, I want to be a coach. Exactly. I want to write a book. I want to sell planners and stationery.
Correct. Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. it can be that thing, and your t-shirt can be the side thing.
Right. So again, I think you have to make a decision within yourself that giving up is not an option. And what I said to myself is, and it's definitely a blessing, but I'm like, I can always go back and get a job making, a six-figure job. That, like, I've done that. I can do that. I literally can do that anytime I decide, right? But building something that's going to be bigger than me and that's going to outlast me, and that, hopefully I can build something that will change the trajectory of my daughter and my family and all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm going for, right? So again, you have to make the decision. Now, hear me clearly. There's nothing wrong with taking a job to sustain your livelihood and pay your bills and doing all of your stuff. Right? There's absolutely nothing wrong. I know there's this thing of, oh, you work for some, like, no, you have to do what you have to do. If you know what I mean? You have to do what you have to do. However, you can still do your thing while you're working, right? But if you have the ability to do it sort of the way that you're doing it now, possibly, or do it on your own, that's a good way to go about it too, because now you can invest all your time, effort, and resources into building your dream, right? So yeah, that's that's where I'm at with it, shawty.
So we talked about the emails, right? Because I know email it can be overwhelming, it can be a lot. That is also social media. That is
Yeah.
also trying to set up, again, the foundation of your brand and trying to learn whether or not people like your stuff, people don't. A lot
Mhm.
of us get afraid because when you get ready to start selling your stuff, you don't want to post it to your friends and your family because you don't want them to be like, what's she doing now? She ain't doing something.
Right.
So you already have an audience, because we all do. We all have a Facebook, and some of us got 5,000 friends that we didn't have since college. I've been on Facebook since it began, and you don't want to post it there. So you're trying to figure out, yes, social media is a job. And with the algorithm constantly changing, because Instagram and Facebook are a business, they are in the business of business.
Mhm.
They are not concerned about helping you build your movement and your business. They are a business that wants to make money. So,
Sure.
what would you say is the best way? We talked about emails,
Mhm.
just getting started. What would you say is kind of a good principle to remember in building your social media as you're building the foundation of your brand?
Um, it's relatability. I think, again, I am who I am, and online, offline, whatever, whether it's software business, whether it's consulting, whatever it is, right? If you can be relatable, and understand the problem that you're solving and solve that problem, or let's think about the products. If you can create a product that people want, then people will, in selling that product, be yourself. That's social media right now. And growing your social media, there are multiple ways. It's content and syndicating your content. Mahdi will definitely tell you all about the Instagram thing, but content syndication, when I was in that phase, there's a whole thing around syndication. Create one video, get it transcribed, take quotes from the video, turn those quotes into Instagram posts, post a video on YouTube, post a video on Instagram. Like, that's a lot, but you can manage it using the tools that are out there. There's Planoly and Hootsuite and all those different things. But it is relatable content. It's content that people want to consume. If you're positioning yourself as a thought leader or you're building a tribe, you want it to be around a topic. One of my other or previous clients, Chef Aki, she's a vegan chef. All of her stuff is around healthy lifestyle, and all the pictures that she shows is like showing her beautiful skin, showing her eating these organic things and doing these nature retreats and things like that. Whatever your thing is, that's what you want to show, right? Like Crystal's in the Girl Plus God space, so her stuff is how I made it, how I got over. My soul looked back and wondered how I got over. Right, that's her story. Right, it is. I started my t-shirt brand on the floor of this apartment, and look where I am now. And she's bringing people along on the journey. That's the real hack right there, is bringing people along on the journey. Most people won't put their thing out there because of fear of other people talking about it. But the best way to do it is to actually put it out there so that people talk about it when it's raggedy. But you have to acknowledge that it's raggedy.
Yeah.
Right? Just like I said earlier, when I get on the stage, the first thing I say is, look, I'm from Louisiana, from the country. I'm going to say some words a little funny, right? That's who I am. And people relate to that immediately.
What if you don't want to be on camera? because there
No.
are a lot of successful brands and you have no idea who own those brands. So
Yep.
you don't necessarily have to be the one that is on camera, but that's not an excuse for you to
Correct.
not go full force with your emails, your social media, and all of your branding and your marketing.
Right. Now, for those are brands. So I don't really have the best advice for not being on camera because I work with a lot of personalities and people who are media people. So the majority of my experiences have been with people that are like front and center of their brand,
Mhm.
right? But you're absolutely right. There are brands that you never know who the person is. Now, how many people are on here and they want to build a brand without people knowing who they are? Because I think even in the world today, the newer companies, people still know who the founder is. Now, you can build products. I do know some guys who do like sell stuff on Amazon, and you literally never know who they are because they're 100% products. So there are ways to do it, but you still have to understand the audience for your product,
Right.
right? So again, it's still understanding your audience. Where is your audience? What Facebook groups are they in? What LinkedIn groups are they in? Are they on Quora? What questions do they read on Quora? Can you answer some of those questions on Quora? Where are they? Like again, what hashtags do they follow? I went to new. I mean, you can find anything through a hashtag on Instagram, right? So, what hashtags do they follow? Are they on Reddit? I know Reddit is mostly white male dominated, but again, it's a great place to be, right? So again, it's understanding where that audience is for that particular brand. And then you have to get your product in front of that brand. Still, it's your responsibility to get them in front of that brand. I mean, to get your brand in front of those people in a what we call a non-sleazy, non-salesy way. If you go in talking about buy my stuff, that's the quickest way to turn people off. Once upon a time, I don't know what was going on with Instagram, but there were all these pages that every page was like a bundle of hair,
Yeah.
right?
And they
Or
were following you, and you would be like, why is this hair page following me?
right, and now they have that with Forex, right? You'll see the pages of everything is like a stock trade quote or something like that. I know this is hard to hear, especially if you're doing that, but if every post on your social media page is your product, every single post is your product, chances are you're probably not going to sell that much unless it's one of those hack pages that have all the followers and stuff like that. But you want to still show personality even in the brand that doesn't have, if you're not the face of the brand, you still want to give the brand personality, unless it's just a commodity, right? So if you're selling Bluetooth headphones, who cares? You just put it on Amazon and do the work to get it on the top one of the top listings, right? So yeah, that's probably the best advice I can give on brands that don't where the person doesn't want to be the face of it. Top three.
But what about just the overall kind of a marketing in the beginning? Marketing is a word that we hear a lot, but a lot of people don't really know what marketing entails. And as a new business owner trying to build a movement, you're like, where do I go?
So marketing is really a conversation. It's a conversation. It's a conversation through assets. It's a conversation through understanding. Again, I keep going back to that. Understanding the problem that you're solving, so that you can put things in front of the person to solve that problem, or position yourself as the person that can solve that problem, or your product as a position as the thing that can solve that problem. Or if you're selling a T-shirt, creating a T-shirt that first appeals to a certain audience and then getting it in front of that audience. So it's marketing is more positioning and conversation. Sales is the actual transaction, right? So for marketing, you just have to have that conversation. Again, if you're like Crystal with Girl Plus God, what does her page look like? What are the quotes she's saying? What are the captions? Because that's important. People want to understand, like, okay, this is more than just a bunch of pictures of T-shirts on every single post. Or you go to place it and download the people and put them on your T-shirt on every post. You still have to have something that's going to make them want to click buy, right? And again, it could be just the product. There are plenty of things like I don't care about Nike's conversation. I just want the shoes. But that's because they've already established themselves, right? Um, so I think for marketing, you start the conversation. And again, social media, because it's free, that's another thing. You guys are here so that, I guess I don't have to say it, but I will. I have people that still are saying, I don't really want to be on social media. And I'm like, but there are millions of people who will buy from you. And you don't even have like, because I help people write books. It's one of the things that I do. And I meet authors from the radio and they're like, I don't have a social media account and I want to write a book. I'm like, but who are you going to sell it to? And they're like, well, that's why I want to work with you. I'm like, I'm not taking you on if you don't even want to do the work for yourself. You know what I'm saying? So the assets are, I mean, the resources are there and they're free. A large majority of them are free. So you have to leverage what's out there. Use social media to start the conversations. Choose the channel that works for you. And you don't have to be everywhere. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have to be everywhere. You can choose one channel and that channel can be a game changer for you. However, I would recommend that you capture data, that you capture email. Got it? Capture email because those emails will live with you forever. I have an email list. I actually found one of my old email lists going through my Dropbox. 11,000 people that I have not emailed since 2013 or 2012. A little bit over 11,000 people. So I got to warm that list back up. First, I got to figure out how to get them uploaded to Kartra without them saying, wait a minute. But it's an old email list that I had from back in the day when I was using MailChimp that somehow got lost in the shuffle. But capture email because that's how you maintain your audience. You can take them wherever you go. How do you capture email, Siobhan? Crystal, you want to get technical real quick or tell them, or you want to keep it high level? Okay. I think a very easy low budget way is to just open up a MailChimp account. MailChimp actually has landing pages in there now. So you can open a MailChimp account for free for up to 2,000 people. And you can set up a landing page on MailChimp. And you can have people sign up for your landing page by putting that link in your bio and saying, hey, or creating a reason for them to sign into it. So I don't know what your product is, Elizabeth, but let's say your product was Girl Plus God t-shirts. I would create something that said top 5 sermons of all times and click here to download the top 5 sermons of all times. And I would do like I would do a PDF document and I would put a picture of the top 5 preachers and the name of their sermons, a cool little graphic I make in Canva. And I would link to those sermons on YouTube, but I would have it all in one PDF. And it would say, this is TD Jake's sermon on Woman Thou Art Loosed. This is Eddie Long's sermon on blah, blah, blah. Right? And I would have all those pictures in there and I would have the links in there and click here to download the top 5 sermons. People download the PDF. I get their email. They open it up and they click on the things and it takes them to YouTube. That's a real quick and dirty way to create something that people would find valuable in the faith-based audience. And I would run ads to that actually.
What's another way that's not for, let's say, faith-based or just you're starting off and you have people
Give me a niche.
Let's say for books. Let's say you just are somebody who you want to write your book. Mm-hmm. And you're about to put in all this work. And then once you're done, which is the same thing as t-shirts, no matter what it is that you're selling, like I sold these to my family, but now I have nobody else to buy it.
Got it. Okay. So the book, I get a lot of people that want to do poetry books because they have journals and journals and journals full of poetry, right? So what I tell them is if they want to build their list, it can't be about them per se, but I would take that same approach. I would do I would do a listicle, right? A listicle is like a list, like we just said, the top 5 things to do this. And I would say the 21 poems that are life-changing that you've never heard of. And I would put them in a PDF. And then I would have them download that PDF. I would capture their email address. And then I would start an email conversation with them and start to talk about poetry. Like I would focus on the niche. And I'm a curator or a purveyor of the niche, right? So I wouldn't say AJ is the dopest poet ever. I would just talk about who are the best poetry. Oh man, I love these poems. I would invite a poet on my IG Live once a week, right? So that poets have followers that love poetry. So I would start talking to other poets. I would join poet Facebook groups. Like every one of you on here, whatever your niche is, you should be in the Facebook group. You should follow all the hashtags. You should find the ancillary groups. In other words, if I'm doing poetry, what else do poets like? Maybe they like art. Or, you know what I mean? Like, what else do they like? I would be not only in the group, but I would be in the ancillary group. So if my book is on poetry, I would start building an audience around poetry, and then I would Trojan horse my book in there, right? So again, if you make it about you, it's a lot harder. But if you make it about the niche or the thing that everybody likes, and you start attracting people that like the thing, then people will start to pay attention to you more. Think about Oprah. Like, think about Oprah when she started. Oprah's literally was next to Phil Donahue, Ricky Lake, Jesse Raphael, Montel Williams, all those people doing daytime talk and fighting on TV and all that stuff, right? But then she took a left turn, left that way. She took a left turn and she started focusing on other people. So her entire platform was built by highlighting and interviewing other people who were interesting. And then what happened? It's called the halo effect, right? So she's on the stage with them. Now all of a sudden they're looking at her like the expert, but she was never really the expert. She was just an interviewer. But then through those interviews and through those experiences, what did she do? She had her book club and she started all these things to where her knowledge was increasing. And now she became the thing, right? So whatever your niche is, you can curate things that audience loves. And then your t-shirt can just be the byproduct of it.
Right. Or
right?
whatever it is that you're selling.
Whatever it is that you're selling. Absolutely.
And then for some people who want to have a Facebook group and you want to get, let's say like a recurring business model, you want for people to pay you for, your Facebook group or your information or different things that you have. I see a lot of you in the comments, like the biggest thing is fear, like not wanting to post, not wanting to do this. It's like, we don't want to put ourselves out there, but you can't be the expert if you're not going to be willing to put yourself out there.
But again, that's the thing that every person, even the people that put themselves out there a lot, they have the same thing. Like, everybody's nervous or fearful about something. It just may not be that thing. Some people, they don't care about social media, but they would dare not get on the stage by themselves, right? So again, everybody has their thing, but you have to make a decision. Is the thing that you want to accomplish bigger than the feeling that you have of not wanting to press send or press play or whatever, right? So Shalombe, so I'm 47, so I'm older than a lot of y'all. Right? So, and again, and let me just say this: stop putting everything on the devil. Sometimes it's you. It's not the devil making you scared. Sometimes you're just nervous. Okay. Like, it does, right? So you can't say the devil, I didn't start my business because the devil made me scared to start it. No, put yourself on the hook to do what you got to do, and don't just say the devil stopped me from doing it. Right. And yeah, that's what it is. It's accountability. And again, I didn't say that to like put you on Front Street or nothing like that, but I hear that a lot because I have a couple, other people that I work with in the book stuff and other stuff. And when I hear that, the first thing that I think is, okay, well, you have a more of a probability of getting killed in a car accident, but you still go drive.
Right.
Right. So again, it's not the devil that's stopping you from making you scared. It's like, fear is a natural thing. Like, you're born with fear. I mean, only like one fear that you're born with, but like, right. So, but again, I don't want to get into the nerdy stuff. However, it's fear, but don't let yourself off the hook by saying the devil's making me scared. Like, just accept it. Like, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right. When I first got on this thing, and I've done millions of webinars, I've started to feel my heartbeat a little bit. I was like, wait a minute, why is my heartbeat not done with, right? But again, it's there. We're human. And the funny thing about us as humans is like, everybody does things so that they can benefit until it's time to do things so that they can benefit. Right. So in other words, you're here because it's going to benefit you to be here, and you're going to learn something, hopefully. Right. But then you'll turn around and not do something that's going to help you benefit, like post on social media. Right. So that's a weird little conundrum, but don't let fear stop you. Like, seriously. But the easiest way, if you guys can form like little mini accountability groups, where it's like you get 2 or 3 people from the group and y'all meet every Wednesday and y'all stay on the phone for 15 minutes, or not every Wednesday, maybe do it 2 or 3 times a week. I did mine. We used to meet 6:30 every morning. It was 3 of us or 4 of us. Right. We talked about, what are we doing today? So by the time we meet tomorrow, we will have done X, Y, and Z. It could be one thing, it could be 3 things, but not too many. right? Find 3 people, no more than 3. What are we doing today? What is something you're grateful for?
Mhm.
And what is the one thing that you're stuck on? And then the other 2 people give ideas. Every person gets 5 to 7 minutes. You
Yeah.
get on and get off in half an hour,
Mhm.
right? Again, because now you have a little group, and your group is looking forward to you doing the thing, right? And that's the other thing. Like, we will do things like, treat yourself like you would your grandmother if you were taking care of her. If you were taking care of your grandmother, like, you would do everything you would to keep her healthy and make sure she eats the right food, she does all things, but we won't do it for ourselves, right? Now, if we're accountable to someone else, we're more likely to do it. So I would say, find 2 people. What do we say? Network sideways. Find 2 people in the group and meet, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for early in the morning before you start your day, and say, what is the 2, 3, what is the one thing, 2 things, 3 things that I'm going to do today? What's the one impediment that I have that will stop me from doing it? And then what's one thing that I'm grateful for, right? So yeah, I think starting an accountability group will be dope for each one of you. Yes, Think and Grow Rich. That's the book that I first heard about accountability groups in.
Think and Grow Rich.
Everybody should read that book, seriously, and read it multiple times. It's a great book.
I know you said that you had some notes too.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to leave us off with that is really like, this is something you absolutely need to know, and don't not do this?
This is one of the quote that I wrote down. One of my old coaches. He said that entrepreneurs are people who take responsibility for problems that aren't theirs. So we see something in the world, or we see an opportunity to add something, or we see an opportunity to create something, we see an opportunity to help somebody. Most of the world goes away from things like this. And even though you're fearful, you're still here, right? So take some time and just pat yourself on the back for being here and taking responsibility to put something out into the world. Oh, Think and Grow Rich. I'm sorry, not Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is by Napoleon Hill. I think everyone should read that book. Okay. So yes. So pat yourself on the back for taking responsibility to try to put yourself out there. Spending your Saturday afternoon with Crystal and I. She has some more great people coming up. You guys are going to have a great time. If I didn't have something else coming up, I would definitely stick on, and I want to hear the recordings. But Crystal, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm honored to be here and happy to be the first of all these amazing speakers. And you guys are really in for a treat. But definitely read Think and Grow Rich. I couldn't leave without giving you guys a book.
Always a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you leave, AJ, do we have any last questions? I just want to make sure you can't ask everything.
No, not at all. If y'all want to write a book, hit me up or follow me on the Instagram, AJ Joiner. But if y'all want to write a book, planner, journal, any of that stuff, hit me up. I'm here to help you. Other than that, I think I'm good to go top 3.
Thank you, Jizzle. I appreciate you.
Yep. All right. See you guys later. Have a good day.